Oh,
I was going to ask if I got a microphone. Hi, everybody. Hi, it's nice to be here in Canada. Thank you for having me. How's everybody doing? You look amazing. I see a lot of cool costumes. I'm in costume today, too. I am in costume as hipster Fred Flintstone.
That's it.
That's it.
All right, so how this is going to work is we've got our microphone right there, and of course anyone can come up and ask him a question, and he'll answer it to probably the best of his ability.
Yeah.
Back when on Angel in season 5, when you went from being, you know, the muscle to the lawyer, was that difficult to make that transition, or?
Can I tell you something funny about people referring to Gunn as the muscle? I remember the very first shirtless scene I had to do on Angel. I remember saying to Joss, thank you. I remember saying to Joss, after we do this scene, you're going to have to stop referring to me as the muscle. Because I don't really think of myself as having muscles. But yeah, so anyway, making that transition was, it was really cool. And I really owe Joss a big favor because when Gunn became a lawyer in the last season, after that, for some reason, I got a lot of roles as lawyers, I guess because people felt like they could see it or they had already seen it and knew that I could do it. So it was a cool transition. And then Gunn kind of went back to his, you know, original ways by the end of that season. So, and I like playing him that way, but I love working with Joss because his characters just grow so exponentially. So it was a lot of fun. It was really cool to get to do something different.
All right, excellent. So we have our first question right here.
Hi there, welcome to Halifax.
Thank you so much. It's nice to be here.
Thanks, good to have you. I asked Jules State this earlier because I realized with you here I could actually ask the same thing and it works both well. You had to, you know, read dialogue written by Joss Whedon and all that stuff like that. Did you have any trouble like tripping over it or having a mouthful of it, or like was it easy for you to get out?
Well, my mind works in a very tangential way, and so I just like to say what comes to mind. But you just took me back to my first audition for Angel, when the character's name was Day, like the opposite of night. His name was Day. I had never seen the show before, and I'd never seen Buffy before, or Angel for that matter. And it was funny because, and I'm going to go on a long non sequitur, and then I'm going to come back to this. But I remember I was a young actor, and I'd gone out for a lot of series regular parts, and I wasn't getting any of them, and I was really, really frustrated. And I remember sitting outside of the audition. I had worked on the piece, and I really didn't know how I was going to do it. The scene that I auditioned with to play Gunn, the scene went something like this. I hate you, Angel. I hate all vampires. Anybody who's a vampire is gonna die. I'm gonna kill all vampires. I hate vampires. Vampires suck. You suck. Everybody sucks. Vampires suck. And that was the whole scene, right? So I really was kind of frustrated because I wasn't really booking any of the roles, you know, series regular roles, and I was really frustrated. And I remember sitting outside of the audition talking to my manager on a payphone because cell phones weren't that popular back then. So I was on the payphone, and I remember telling her, I was like, I don't want to go in for this. I can't go in for this. I don't know what to do with the material. It's just 2 pages of me yelling at this vampire. I don't know how to play this. I'm just, you know, he's like a street kid. He's homeless, and he hates vampires, and he's a vampire killer. I don't know how to do this. So my manager at the time, she just said, honey, just go in for it. Just go in. Please just go in. You're so close. Just go in. So I got to the audition, and right before I walked in the room, I heard the voice of Meryl Streep. Yes, believe it or not, Meryl Streep was on this show called Inside the Actors Studio, and I watched it religiously. I thought it was brilliant. And I remembered something she said when she was talking about acting. She said, always examine the opposite of what you're saying. And so as I walked through the door, I thought, oh, okay, I'm a street kid, and my parents, I'm an orphan probably, and my parents weren't there for me, and I really do want to work with Angel, I just don't know how to say it. So if I push him away from me, he will prove to me that he believes in me and he'll want to work with me. So this was all going through my mind before I walked in, and then suddenly the scene just came alive. It just made such perfect sense. And I had dyed my hair red for the audition because the main casting director for the WB felt I was too clean cut for the role. So I dyed my hair red, and I had hair at the time. It was more than this. And I just remember finishing the scene and knowing that I nailed it. And I didn't know who Joss was at the time, but I remember this guy looking at me after I finished the audition, and he looks at me and he goes, "Is that a spray?" And it actually was a spray. It was like this hairspray dye that I had sprayed on my hair with. And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's a spray, but I can take it out." He was like, No, keep it. My wife's hair is that color." So then they called me back and said, "You're going to test for the role." And I was like, "Okay, well, me and how many actors?" And they were like, "You're the only one. You're the only person they saw that they liked." So that was my audition story. So to answer your question, there's a rhythm to Joss's dialogue that either you kind of instinctively understand or you come to learn. I remember one of the lines for my audition was, "Vampire, period, fight, period, dust, period, party, period." But I thought my sides were messed up, so I thought the word dust said duet. So I went, "Vampire, fight, duet, party." And I just thought duet, me and him fighting, it's a duet. So it takes a minute to get used to, but I feel like he talks like that too. He talks like that, and everyone who writes for him has that same cadence. So once you figure it out, it's pretty easy to deliver.
Thank you.
Damn, that was a long answer. I'm going to shorten my answers, I promise.
Oh no, that's okay.
They all become yes and no. No. Yes. Next. No.
I just have a couple of quick questions for you.
Sweet, I'll answer quickly.
Well, one, it was great to see you on S.H.I.E.L.D. Do we have any hope to see you again on S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Can't answer that.
Can't answer that. We'll look forward to it then.
You're going to get me in trouble. I didn't say anything.
Okay.
I mean, no, I can't answer that. Oh my God.
Yeah, the second question I wanted to ask you, one of the things I really...
Oh no, you're taping this. I'm going to have to confiscate your video.
One of the things I really enjoyed about Angel when...
Wait a minute, the whole thing is being taped. God. I'm in trouble.
You really had 3 alpha males on that set with you, Angel, and ultimately Wesley actually became a bit of an alpha male himself. Okay, we'll go there. How did you play it? Because you did a really great job of maintaining that tension between you and Angel as alpha males. How did you manage to pull that off?
Well, you missed one of the alpha males. I feel there were 4. Lauren. My good friend Andy Allen. That was definitely a source of tension, and I really liked that because I joined the group. I wasn't suddenly somebody that didn't have his own voice. I enjoyed the fact that I still had my own voice. I disagreed with Angel when I disagreed with him. I never felt like Angel and Gunn were buddy-buddy, and in my mind, honestly, I felt that Wesley was Gunn's best friend. And also I think our chemistry or our relationship off camera, people could feel on camera because we were very close. And I think that's the strength of Joss's shows, is that the characters all have their own identity and that they never lose it just because they're working together.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And just on a side note, I just want to say this because I've never been able to say this publicly, but I rehearsed that wall climbing scene for 2 days straight, and it lasted 15 seconds at the most. I was really upset about that. I've rehearsed that so much. Okay.
Well, first of all, he just asked the same thing about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I was, and I know you can't answer, so I'm going to modify it for you. Actually, it was great to see you in that, and your performance in that episode in particular is what sold me on the show, because you had a real depth, and it was really an interesting character, and I wanted to know what your thoughts were on how you've changed, how you brought that character to life from when you were doing Gun.
Oh, what a great question. First of all, thank you so much for saying that. Thank you. I feel like I threw my whole self into that. But honestly, it's so funny. Okay, I have to go back to the audition story, because I kind of do believe that roles find you. I don't feel like you find roles, they find you in a way. And so I know that from the minute I knew they were going to do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was probably a year before they shot the pilot, when I read the announcement, I just thought, I'm going to be on that show. Not because I know Joss and know everybody associated with it, because it just doesn't work like that in his company. I just felt like I was going to be on it. I don't know how. So when I heard they were casting, I called my manager and I said, are there any roles for me or for somebody like me? And she said, no, none. I mean, not even a guest star. I was like, a guest star or one line, anything? No, there's nothing for anybody like you. But I still believed that I was going to be on it. Anyway, the new year came, and my New Year's resolution was to try new things. I was just going to try new things just for my own sense of expansion. I was like, I'm just going to try new things. So one morning at 11 o'clock, my manager called me, and she said, backstory, I got to give you a backstory. I won't go in for an audition if I don't have 24 hours to prepare for it, because I just don't like my work when I haven't worked on something. So my manager called me at 11 a.m. and said, they want to see you for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. today at 3. I know you're going to say no, but what do you think? And I just made that New Year's resolution, so I said, okay, I'll try it. I'll do it. So I had to go there and get the material, and I read the material for the audition, and that last scene in Union Station was one of the audition scenes. And there was a line that the character said where he said, it's very hard for me to even speak this line without getting emotional about it, but there was a line in there where he said, I could be, you know, a hero. And I just really understood that line. And like the person's whole life just laid out before my eyes. Like I understood how he felt, how he walked, who he was. And I felt like as long as I understand that line, then I'll know how to deliver everything else. And I didn't know any of the other lines when I went in, and I was like, they know I just got the material, I know I just got the material, and I just have to make it up as I go along. But just, I could really feel the essence of that. I mean, when your back is against the wall, but you still believe in yourself, I've been there so many times. So I just brought that with me. So anyway, I went in at 3 o'clock. I walked out, and I really had no connection to getting the part or not getting the part. I just felt like, wow, I kind of like really manifested that. I said I was going to try new things. I said I was going to, you know, be on the show, and here I am. I was like, wow, this is so great. And I completely forgot about it. Then at 7 o'clock, my manager called and said, okay, they're considering you. Don't cut your hair, don't shave. And I was like, really? She was like, yeah, you're up for it. Because I actually kind of thought I bombed it a little bit. And actually, I sent Joss an email that night. And I said, listen, I just auditioned for your show. If you see anything in my performance that you think is right, because I know that it's all about what you think is right. If you see anything in there that you think is right, I promise you I'm going to give you everything I have to bring this character to life, because I love him. And so I left it at that. The next morning I woke up, again, I forgot about it. My phone is ringing off the hook now, and my manager said, you got the part, Joss wants to see you at 2. So I was like, oh my God, I got the part, oh my God, I got the part. So I was so excited. I went to the office, I went to see Joss, and I said, dude, thank you so much. I meant what I said in my email. And he said, what email? He never got it. So I was saying all that to say, what? But basically, no, I mean, and I really appreciate you saying that, because again, even though he didn't get my email, I knew that I had made a promise. And so I gave it everything I had. I knew I had to climb up that wall, so I practiced 2 days in a row for it. I just felt like I really understood the guy. And I'm so glad that people felt what I felt. Because in that last speech, some people have had most people really get it, what I was really saying and what was really being communicated in the piece. But some people put a weird dynamic on it that that wasn't in the script and wasn't in my heart either. But most people really got it. I'm so sorry I'm so long-winded.
I'd like you to know that I did. We really got that, and I really appreciate what you brought to that show. We're so looking forward to possibly...
Hypothetically, that's where we're going with it. Hypothetically.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I just want to add one other thing. I knew it was going to be a different performance because going into it, my intention, honestly, after I got the part, I said to myself, this is no longer about me. I just hope that through this piece, I could touch somebody who felt like their back was against the wall. That was just all I wanted to do. Hello.
Hi, Mr. Richards. I just wanted to say I love you, and I watched Angel like so many times. And waited in the line for 6 hours to see you today, and I just missed you by like 5 minutes to get a photo, so I was wondering if you have time after I got my ticket.
Yes, of course. Come here, give me a hug. Thank you so much. Yes, but the answer to your question is yes. That's a short answer.
I thought we were going to go into another audition story.
You know, I was auditioning for War and Peace. Yes, sir.
Hi, if it's all right, I'm going to ask 2 questions.
Sure.
That's okay? Okay, first question is an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. question. It's just sort of a different take on that final scene in Union Station. I was wondering if you could talk about just like the filming of that, particularly like you destroying things in the station, like the physicality of that, like when watching it the first time I thought was really cool. I just wanted to know how that was filmed and how you guys did that.
Yeah, that was tough because we shot for maybe like a little less than 4 weeks. And every single day that I went to work, and I worked like maybe like 3 out of those 4 weeks, or 2.5, something like that. And every day when I came home, I was sore from head to toe. Even in a scene where I didn't think it was that physical, like, you know, I'd say to my friends, oh, I just have to jump out of the window today. I'll be home early and we can go out. I was sore from head to toe. But yeah, that physicality was there in the script, and you know, my stuntman actually did the high fall, that long fall, and then a computer double did the crash. But yeah, it was just a part of where he was. He was raging. He was really irritated by the serum, and yeah, it was brutal. Again, that scene, sore from head to toe, just from picking up that rebar, crashing it into the thing. My voice was shot. It was tough. It was tough. But I was in my zone that day. I wasn't talking to anybody. Between takes, I'd go in the corner and just chill, and then come out and do it. And so it was a tough scene, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. My second question was actually an Angel question. I was just wondering, like, what one-liners that Gunn has from the series really stick out in your mind? Any one-liners you particularly liked?
Sweet beverages!
Yes! Yes!
Oh my God, there's so many. So many.
Choose one!
Wow. That's so tough.
Sorry.
No. You know, I do this all the time. I'm going to pause that, and then I'll tell you when it comes to me, okay? Because I want to give you the right one, and whenever I'm asked certain questions, the right answer comes later. So I don't want to give you the wrong answer. So let me think about that, and I'm going to come right back to that.
All right, I'll hold you to it.
Okay, cool. Don't let me forget.
I know actually one of my favorite lines in Angel is actually a Gun line. It's when Fred becomes Ilaria and she bros really, really fast and they're trying to figure out how she vanished. And you're like, oh yeah, just Wally Wested us. And they're all looking at you. Jake Garrick, well, okay, ran really, really fast.
That's a typical Joss type line. Yes, exactly. Oh, I got it. Oh.
That close, you're that close.
Yes, this is it. Something about Denzel being robbed from Malcolm X. I love that line. And then after I leave, they say something, and then Angel says, what was it?
He goes, he goes, yeah, he really was robbed. They're all
Yeah, exactly.
whenever they're talking, and he goes, yeah.
Yes, exactly, that line. So it was something about Denzel being robbed from Malcolm X.
Hi, I just wanted to start by saying that I wanted to add my vote to the possibility of you maybe showing up in S.H.I.E.L.D. again.
It's our ballot box.
We just got to send it to the right person, that's all.
Yeah, if you want to give us Joss's email, I'm sure
But we know he doesn't get the email, so it may not work.
Yes.
What I wanted to ask you was about the puppet episode of Angel.
I love that episode.
And I was wondering,
So much fun.
I was wondering if you were a little bummed that there's no gun puppet.
Yes. Because I love puppets. That episode was so much fun. We just laughed constantly, and thank God Andy was there because he just makes everything funnier. He's just the funniest person ever.
I think Gunn would have made an adorable puppet.
It was the most interesting thing. I was sitting around waiting to go to Australia to do a con, and then my manager called and said, "You got an offer to be on Arrow." And I was like, "Really?" She was like, "Yeah, they want you to be on the show." And I was like, "Well, let me read the script." And I read the script, and the character was called Mr. Blank, and he is the most sociopathic, evil killer, chasing around the most adorable 9-year-old boy to kill him for an hour. And I thought, what made them think of me for this part? I was like, I've never done anything like this before. I think that the characters I play have a certain warmth to them. So I was like, huh? But I was like, okay, this is a great challenge. I'll give it a try. And I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I just tried to, I read the script. I tried to figure out what I should be like, what I should act like, how I should do it. And after days of thinking about it, I just thought, well, the guy's name is Mr. Blank. So everything I'm going to do is going to be blank. I'm just not going to do anything. But then I noticed that he had this ability to absorb a room. Like he'd walk into rooms and be like, oh, there's so much love in this room. And I was like, okay, so he can feel emotions off of things, but not off of people. And once I had that, it was kind of off and running. So I really want to play that character again.
I think you should.
I know, but he died. I died the first day that I showed up to shoot.
Please, you know comics, they always come back.
Yeah, exactly.
Not necessarily on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. though.
Right.
I have to admit, when they told me I'd be doing your Q&A, all I could think of was that episode. I'm like, okay, he's going to be over here, and I'm just going to put my chair all the way.
Right, because I might explode. I always told them I was the bomb.
I came in here late, so this might have already been asked, but I actually have 2 questions as well.
If you do ask a question that has been asked already, I'm going to have her tell you what I said.
In Angel, you started off as being, excuse my language, pretty badass. In terms of killing.
I speak that language.
In terms of
fluently. Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. In terms of killing vampires, but then later on in the series, you become this again badass lawyer. I'm just wondering how did you ever find at any time the transition between the same characters but the 2 different personalities of that character difficult?
It was a challenge to do both of them, but it was kind of refreshing because it gave you an opportunity.
Yeah, that was good. She didn't even grab the woman on the video camera or anything.
Yeah, that was really impressive. That was amazing. A version of that question was asked, not the exact same version, but it was a challenge. And it was a great opportunity to expand as an actor and as a character. And also it was a gift because the rest of the industry kind of got to see me as a lawyer, and so once the show was canceled, which was shortly after that, I ended up playing several lawyers, which was fun, but a little redundant. So it's cool now to be doing something that I've never done before. I remember when we were shooting Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Joss turned to me in the middle of shooting and he said, we've never seen you like this before, have we? And I was like, never, no. So it's a whole new progression, so I'm excited about that.
Well, you did a great job on it.
Thank you so much. And just to add one more thing, because I talk too much, but I feel like my career, my entire career, I think it tells the story almost of one person, if you will. My very first job was on The Cosby Show, and I just feel like you can there's an arc to the characters that I play, and I'm so excited to continue that.
Okay, and the second question, during the filming of Angel, was there any, likely this has been asked, I'm sorry,
no.
If there's one particular episode that, it doesn't even have to be necessarily that you liked the script or you loved doing the filming, but any funny stories from that particular episode?
Yes, well, I loved doing the ballet episode.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite.
Yeah, there was, I mean, that whole shoot was nothing but a funny story, because whenever Joss is directing, it really feels like you're doing community theater, or like we do these Shakespeare readings at his house sometimes, and they're very informal, very laid back, everybody's reading it for the first time, and when you work with him, that's exactly how you feel. So even doing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was a big pilot for ABC, a pilot is so much pressure because you don't know if it's going to work, you don't know if your character's going to work, you don't know if anything's going to work, but it was so relaxed, it felt like we were sitting around his living room reading Shakespeare, and that's what's so great about working with him. So it was all funny stories. I mean, the things that are the funniest always have Andy Hallett in them somehow. Like, he just makes everybody laugh. He was the funniest person that I've ever worked with. So I wish I could tell you one thing specifically, but there are too many.
Okay. Also, you were amazing in S.H.I.E.L.D. When I saw you on there, I was like, oh my god. And I got my whole family to watch it with me. So you did a great job.
Thank you so much. And thanks to everybody who tweeted about it that night, because they all saw it, so that was cool.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for coming, first of all.
Thank you for having me.
One of my my favorite episode of Angel, but also like one of the saddest, is the death of Fred, when she becomes Illyria, and the way that all the support, the other characters react to that, I just felt was so compelling. Did you have anything to say about that particular part of the show? Or?
Well, the cool thing was that Joss directed that episode too. And when Joss directs, it's just, it's his vision, so it's coming directly out of the mind of the person who created it. So it was very sad. It was very sad on that day, watching that character that we all had come to love die. And we all loved Amy so much. Obviously we knew she was going to be coming back as another character, but still it was really sad to say goodbye to Fred, because she was such a pivotal part of the game, So yeah, it was definitely sad in real life as well. And I remember the day she died on the show, it was just a very calm, quiet, and relaxed, almost like a funeral.
And the other thing is, you said that you feel like a lot of the characters you've played have kind of been one arc or one character. Where does your role on Goodburger fit into that?
Great question. So the kid from The Cosby Show graduated from high school and went to work at Goodburger.
Makes perfect sense. Thank you.
We've all got to make ends meet.
Hello.
I wanted to say I'm so very happy that you're here. You have retweeted me twice, or replied to me twice, and it has made my day both times.
Well, see, you had to have said something really positive and nice and warm, because that's what I respond to.
Oh, well, yes.
So thank you.
You're welcome. The first time was when it was announced to us that you were going to be here.
Oh,
so I was very excited. I guess most people know you from S.H.I.E.L.D. or from Angel. Any other sort of role that you haven't touched on here that has kind of just made you appreciate the, I guess, other depths of different characters? I know you from an episode of Grey's Anatomy where you played the doctor in the 80s flashback. So...
Man, well, it's interesting that you mentioned that role, because that role sort of, like I said, I think the roles find you in a way, and I thought that role was awesome because as a human being, I'm very, what's the word? Not fascinated, but very, I have a reaction to any form of discrimination of any kind, right? So that episode was about racism, sexism, homophobia. It was about, fear of people with illnesses, ageism. It was about all of those things. So I was like...
And that was just your third of the story.
Exactly. And I was just like, how interesting that I would be cast in this part. And what else makes it really, really interesting is that 1 year before that, the actor who I played, James Pickens Jr., I was at the NAACP Image Awards at a luncheon, and he walked in the room, and I turned to the young lady I was with, and I said, "That is the coolest man I've ever seen." I said, "That guy is just so cool. How is he so cool like that?" And then a year later, when I was cast to play him
in the 30s, or when he was 30.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just like,
wow, maybe I'm a little cool too.
I absolutely think so, just in case you were wondering.
Thank you. I also did the play called Space once too, that I played an alien. I played a bike messenger who was a part-time rapper who was physically abducted. He was, what's it called when somebody comes into your body? Possessed by an alien. And I was like, oh, I was born to play this role too. I get to rap and I'm possessed by an alien. And I'm the hugest Star Wars fan known to man, so I'm all about it. So it was just great. Oh, we got some Star Wars fans?
Oh, yeah, on stage here.
Now we just need to figure out how we're going to get me in the next Star Wars movie. What's that? I know, I rode in the elevator with him. I thought that was a good omen. But the movies take place after... Interesting story about that too. I grew up in an all-white neighborhood, and whenever we'd play Star Wars, I always had to be Lando. I was like, why can't I be Luke? I want to be Luke or Han Solo. And if they were feeling generous, they let me play Chewbacca, which is really fucked up. Excuse me. Pardon me.
I was just going to ask, with such a large part that karaoke played in Angel, do you have a favorite karaoke song or any associated stories that might be interested from all the times that you guys had to sing for Lorne?
Well, the other night, I was at a karaoke bar, yes, I confess, and I was going to sing something, I don't remember what I was going to sing, and they played the wrong music, and it was like an R&B ballad type thing, but the beat was so funky that I just started doing Jay-Z and Kanye's song Paris to the beat of that song, and it just worked out so perfectly. It was awesome, and I was so in a zone that then I turned it into Pour It Up by Rihanna. So I was like all over the map, but I had the whole bar rocking. It was tight. So, but related to Lorne and karaoke, you know, I never got to do a solo for Lorne, which I would have loved to do, which I'm going to do for you now. Cue music. Joking.
They're frantically searching, going, we didn't get that cue.
Thank you.
Thank you. But if you got something funky, play it.
So here's a quick question about that. Was David as bad as Angel was at karaoke?
Absolutely.
Where was that camera now?
It's off.
You were talking about Shakespeare readings at Joss Whedon's place.
Yes.
And Star Wars. Have you read William Shakespeare's Star Wars?
No. There's such a thing?
There is a thing. They've done Star Wars in Shakespearean English.
No.
And, oh yeah, it's beautiful. We actually, I'm from Ottawa, and we did a reading at a bar. It was amazing.
Oh my God.
Tell Joss about it. Film it. And
send it to JJ.
That's it. It'll be it's one of the most amazing things you could ever read.
That sounds amazing. Use it, the Force.
And they've got
that's already Shakespearean though.
They've already got it. They've got it set up here where like actors are just standing in their TIE fighters, but they're like they've got soliloquies across the stage.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And if you're ever in Ottawa, because we have a Comic-Con in May, if you're ever in Ottawa, I will take you out to karaoke.
Fantastic. Deal.
Sorry, I'm back.
No problem.
Back to the karaoke.
All roads lead back to karaoke. You know, I actually used to get extra money through college by doing karaoke contests.
I was just wondering where you said that you never got to do a solo for Lorne.
Yes.
If you had thought about maybe what Gunn would do if he got a chance to sing for Lorne.
What he would sing?
Yeah.
Gunn would sing something like... Well, honestly, it's funny because I think he would sing something like Ribbon in the Sky by Stevie Wonder. Something, because he's kind of sappy on the inside. He's got like so much heart that he would love a song like that. So it's probably something like that. It wouldn't be like a rap or something like that, but something kind of like emotional. Because I always saw him as an emotional guy. Or he'd sing like We Are Family by Sister Sledge. That's what he would sing. Because for me, his entire, like I always say, from day one of playing Gunn to the last day of shooting, which was the scene in the alley with the you take the 10,000 on the right, I'll take the 10,000 on the left. That was the last scene that I shot as Gunn. And so between that day and the first day I started, my objective never changed, which was I need family. And so it just never changed.
Awesome, thanks.
Thank you.
I'm also back again.
Hello.
Hi, I came up with another question after I sat down. In the comics of Angel, after that final scene in the alleyway, which you just mentioned, which was a perfect segue, thank you.
Nice.
Gunn, in that, spoilers for anyone who hasn't read that, Gunn becomes a vampire.
What?
Yeah.
I'm joking.
It happened. I'm just wondering if you've ever considered how you would have portrayed that part of Gunn's storyline if you had had the chance to actually perform it on.
Yeah, that's why I won't read the comic, because I really like playing parts that do not have a template. I don't like playing something that's been done 1,000 times and you have to do it right. I like to do something where there's no right or wrong. And so for me to play a vampire, which is something that I would really love to do, and I think that's why I work a lot in the science fiction genre, because my creativity turns on when there are no answers. But when there are answers, I'm so bored and turned off. That's probably why you've never seen me on a cop show being like, we gotta catch the criminal who went down to the street and turned right on 49th Street in the blue van at 7:49 p.m. That's probably why I never get those parts, because I don't have an in with them. But I've always wanted to play a vampire because I want to explore the feeling of what it feels like to be dead and alive at the same time. That's where I would come into it. And that would put me right in it, So that's why I don't read the comics, because I know I want to play it. And I know I never will, so.
Sorry.
It's all good.
Would have wanted to see that, though.
Right, bringing up bad topics and everything. Sore subjects.
It's good that you're wearing a mask.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi.
Hello.
You're awesome.
No, you're awesome.
As a Whedonite, love it seeing any of my favorite characters in the different shows. Veronica Mars episode where you see Allison Hannigan and Charisma Carpenter bantering made me so happy. As an actor who's in that sort of Whedonverse, does that translate? Do you guys, is there a feeling of being part of the, obviously there is, but could you talk about
Yes, absolutely. I do feel very connected to the people that I've worked with on the shows, and we did when we were working together too. They also have a real talent for picking people with small egos and people who are very trained and diverse in terms of the work that they do. So I was just with a lot of them a month ago, and I just love those people so much, and we have such a mutual respect and admiration, and they were all really sweet about S.H.I.E.L.D. and I saw Much Ado and sent them all messages about it as well. So it's a really great community of people and actors, and it's also cool that they say Joss is loyal to the actors that he's worked with before, but he also doesn't give you anything. You got to be right for it, and you got to show up and prove it. So anytime you get to work with him multiple times is a real blessing,
Thank you.
Now, a quick question on that. Just going to build up on hers. Yes. Was there another Joss product? We'll go with product. Project that you wish you could have been in on?
Yes, I loved Dollhouse very much. I really enjoyed that show a lot. I loved Serenity, the movie as well, and the TV show, Firefly. I'm just a fan of everything. Oh, you know what else? I love Cabin in the Woods. I love that so much. I thought it was so original. And Much Ado, of course. I really wanted to be in Much Ado. But I think I was out of the country at the time that they did the initial reading. So all of them. Basically.
It's funny when you mentioned doing the Shakespeare readings, because Much Ado makes more sense now.
Right, exactly.
Because that was all filmed in his place, and It was filmed in his house.
It was, and that's where we would do them, and we did Much Ado a few years before they did the movie.
So excellent. Yeah. All right, so next question.
So a friend of mine met you did, and she mentioned that you like to play board games. What do you play?
As far as board games, I'm all about Stratego. Stratego is this very rare game that not too many people know about. Monopoly is always a classic, but my favorite is Taboo, to play at a party. I love playing Taboo. Do you guys know Taboo? The funniest thing happened to us the other night playing Taboo. It was kind of a mixed group of people that we knew and didn't know so well. And so this one girl gets up. She wasn't on my team. This was the other team. And her word that she had to make her team say was copycat. So in Taboo, there are 5 words that you can't say to get the team to say the word copycat. So the girl looks at her clue and she goes, okay. If you're dressed just like me, you're a... And somebody in her team yells out, prostitute. Yeah, the evening didn't go too well from there.
I want to be like all these cool kids asking 2 questions. Back when you first started on Angel, if someone walked up to you and said, I'm from the future and the creator of the show is going to be the director of the third highest grossest movie in history, would you have believed them?
Yes.
Cool.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I was so proud of him when all of that happened, and it was so deserving. And you know what the other thing is? Now, he is a friend of mine, and I'm very loyal to him, and I love him, but honestly, he is the first person to get a superhero movie right. Okay, wait a minute. Christopher Nolan did a great job, too. But...
Batman had no superpowers. You can...
Okay, there we go. But I honestly felt that with the Avengers, he just nailed it. Like, because I used to read comic books as a kid, and I had the feeling of when I used to read them as a kid, and that's the best thing a director can do with a superhero movie. So many directors, quality directors, have tried and failed. Like, I don't know what that first Incredible Hulk movie was. I don't know what that was.
So we're just going to have time for about one more question here.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thanks.
Explain your shirt to me.
This is...
Turn around so they can see it too. They probably know.
It's Little Richard.
Little Richard the singer?
No. There's an online cartoon strip called Looking for Group, and it's based loosely on some of them know it. If you see Sailor Bacon around, he's involved with that.
Oh, okay.
His name's Lars D'Souza.
Yeah, Lars D'Souza. He also does The Least I Can Do, and he's one of our featured artists down here today.
I love learning new things. That's why I
and it's based on World of Warcraft characters, and then it goes off in its own direction. But
it's close to World of Warcraft that they can do without getting sued.
Yeah. He's an undead sorcerer. And his catchphrase is, "You all saw it, that orphanage attacked me."
You all saw it, that orphanage attacked me?
Yes.
That's funny.
Yeah. So anyways, that's who he is. He's got shrunk in one storyline, so that's the Little Richard thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He doesn't sing, though. Oh, he does do one song.
That's a question.
Anyways. Sorry, you were talking about comic books, and I grew up reading comic books, too. And I know when they were talking about casting Spider-Man, I thought at the time that, damn it, I can't think of his name now, Independence Day.
Will Smith?
Yeah, I thought he would be a great Spider-Man because he's got that wisecracking kind of attitude.
Yeah.
If you could play any comic book character, anyone at all, who would it be?
What a clever way to get around the other question.
What was the other question?
Let me see.
Cut camera, everyone, cut camera.
No,
He might say Storm. We all just heard him say she was his favorite.
I think we might have to end that one there.
There are so many great superheroes. Let me think. Now, honestly, there's people who's, That's a really good question.
I'd be Optimus Prime.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I'm trying to think of somebody who's like emotional struggle I can relate to, because you're only as good as the humanity of the character, and I think that's what's so good about Marvel is that, and I read all comics when I was a kid, but I always found the Marvel characters to have a nice struggle.
I really like the X-Men, the us against them kind of attitude that always seems to parallel the whatever seems to be going on in society at the time seems to have an us versus them kind of attitude. I always kind of like that.
Yeah, exactly. But okay, I'd love to answer that question, but it's a difficult one to answer.
Well, is there anyone from DC?
Well, no, it's just a difficult question to answer because...
Oh, no, okay.
It's
Sorry, I
just a
just
difficult
suddenly got that.
Well, no, it's just difficult because I love all superheroes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I really did just get that.
No, but yeah. Let me just stop talking.
I'm gonna go sit down. And if you happen to think about later, like you did with the other guy.
Okay, cool. Nice, very cool. Well, hey, thank you guys so much. It was a pleasure hanging out with you for this hour. Thank you for having me here. And hope to see you all later on during the con, all right?